Excited, yay.
Yay! Execration, Warlock and Sand King again this time around, and there we have it. I do want to say that I really like Rave's Timbersaw ban, like specifically against DJ. He's used that hero like numerous times to kind of single-handedly carry Execration when games go poorly for them. But a little bit disappointed that we still don't see a Meepo.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah. We've been saying it for months now. It feels like every game that Execration is in, it's first phase ban. But I gotta say, that's pretty good drafting advantage you have, right? If one of your players is so good on a hero that it constantly demands a ban.
Yeah. First phase ban every game. I mean, Complexity learned the hard way that you can't just let it through. Tinker again, taken out by Rave. The delay that you get from the march around these towers is always difficult to handle if you do want to get pushing in with the illusions, as well as, you know, laser aghanims is just so good against these pushes. I do come in. Now, Execration, what do you feel went wrong for them in game number 2 against this Luna SD strat?
They never actually had the... I guess tempo is the word? No, they weren't ever dictating how the game should be played, right? They weren't putting enough pressure, they weren't running enough ganks, so I felt like it's up to Rave to do whatever they wanted to do. Remember that ancient area that I pointed out that was stacked 4 to 5 times? If you put enough pressure on an SD Luna lineup, they don't get to do that. They had some decent ganks, but they never actually transitioned those ganks into big objectives. Like, they never got, let's say, a tier 2 tower, they were never poking up high ground, they never got Roche. So, I think they need to run a lineup with a clearer goal in mind.
Like, the Sand King, it did a decent job at kind of roaming around and getting Blink Dagger at a reasonable time, but it wasn't a Nyx or a Bounty or a Ricky that gave you that vision advantage, right? You could never kind of go and scout someone out, look for a pick-off, see where Rave was setting up for these pushes, which Execration might have to think of in this game as they head into the Lifestealer now. How do you feel that actually matches up against Luna?
It depends if there's a Slaughter around. I think in a 1v1 matchup, they're okay. Shadow Demon though kind of complicates things because Demonic Purge is so good against Lifestealer, especially post Rage. I think they have a very different playstyle where SD and Luna is looking to fight more around the towers. And hopefully if Slaughter gets picked up, Slaughter's Lifestealer is looking to do more roaming ganks, which we'll see if it gets picked up here.
I mean, nothing else really matters anymore because Rave have OD, so they've won the game automatically, right?
Not exactly, but it does complicate the life of Lifestealer a bit more because he's a single target hero, you know, has to get into melee range. Disruption already annoying against him. Now you add another layer of that on top. Last game we saw a lot of, you know, Disruption, Astro, and multiple saves back to back to back, and it was super annoying.
You add in Hurricane Pike as well, it's like you can't touch them.
Yeah. Warlock though is quite good against that kind of stuff because his AoE is so big that he will stun Shadow Demon and the target that you're likely going on. But we saw towards the end of the game that Tim's would stay very far away and he would just blink into after the Warlock goal has dropped. And then, you know, he still saves his target, so.
5 seconds remaining.
Rave with a very similar draft to what they had in the last game. What were their other 2 heroes?
They had Veno?
Veno, Axe. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a good reason to not go for those 2 again? Like, Axe is still reasonably good against, you know, catching Warlock, finding the Invoker. He's a pretty good offlaner and solid there. Maybe struggles a little bit against Lifestealer Warlock in lane, but not enough to really shove him back into the jungle fully. I think Venomance maybe is going to be the weak link, and you consider a different sort of 4-role support. Look for maybe a Bounty Hunter. Get that vision advantage and get the tracks going.
I would not go for Veno again. Very poor hero against Lifestealer. Even Invoker, like a lot of Veno's effectiveness is like damage over time, where if you have a lot of levels in Quas, well, Invoker doesn't care. It will go into the Bounty like you mentioned. Pretty good Bounty lineup to be, because Shadow Demons allows your Bounty to always get in range for Janata hits, so, and they could chase extremely well from that. And same thing with Astro. Astro in the mid lane, Bounty's there, Janata, and you go to work. So yeah, pretty good draft.
Also very good, like if the Sankin gets that blink and they start looking for the infest bombs, if he's just like, you know, lurking around, skulking and popping smokes and seeing where someone infests into, gets the track on them, all of these initiation tools Execration kind of rely on to find kills with a, you know, global sunstrike thrown in, suddenly aren't as potent anymore. But Rave,
Right.
final hero likely to be their offlaner. I think Axe is still a solid ban. Tidehunters out there, which we've seen run with like Luna drafts in the past as well, just in case, you know, your Luna gets jumped on before she has a BKB or any good ways to defend her, or the Shadow Demon gets caught. Have the Tide as the Ravage to slow things down and reset fights.
I think one thing that both teams' minds should be on is the possibility of either team going offensive trialing. There's, I think, more strength for Execration to go offensive because Lifestealer open moons into a Sunstrike is the thing, Burrow Strike into a Sunstrike is the thing. Even though you have the disruption to save, it's not always foolproof. And same thing, I think we already seen one offensive Luna lane today, right? So we could see one here again. Did we see one, or am I confusing it up with a different game?
See a what, sorry?
Offensive Luna lane?
Offensive. Yeah, we've seen it a bunch. A lot of Chinese teams use, like LGD definitely used to do it a fair amount. It was like SD Luna lane, and then like Batrider safe lane, then they'd swap at like 6 or 7 minutes. Finham are the European team that does it a hell of a lot. They kind of, I don't know if they copied it from the Chinese, but it definitely kind of came around at the same time, where during the European qualifiers, that was the main go-to draft for them, was either Luna or Lifestealer in these aggressive dual lanes, and then have a roaming, so it's like a 2.5 lane, right? You'd have a roaming hero that would come in and help, then you'd swap the lanes back and get your safe lane farming. Bounty Hunter can definitely do, you know, you can have Luna SD go down towards bot, Bounty goes between bot and mid, and you put a lot of pressure onto Warlock, because even though Execration got Warlock to a fast level 6, they stacked up camps. No, that safe lane went perfectly for them, mid lane went well. It was just that timing push, and I think, you know, you mentioned in the sort of dying throes of the previous game, they didn't have that direction. They didn't have a real solid game plan to follow through on, where Rave were just like, right, we do this, follow the algorithm, we go from A to B to C to D, and we finish the game. Now they're looking for their final hero. They're offlaner, but Execration still have it pretty open. You know, Sankin could be the 3, could be the 4. Still not sure if it's going to be the Chemo or the DJ hero to be picked up.
I'm still surprised that Slaughter was not the ban for Team Rave. Slaughter Lifestealer has been such a great combination. It's been seen so much. Maybe they're expecting the Sankin to be an offlane, indicated by the SA ban, which that's a fair point. They're going to go with the X once again. So, identically the same draft, apart from Bounty for Venno.
Yeah. I mean, it's just pretty much what we said, right? It's a strong draft. Venno would have been a weak link. We both agreed that Venno would be the hero to get swapped out, and
right.
I like it. I feel like Rave have a solid one here. Execration, though, say, you know what? We're going to bring out the Pudge in Game 3, the deciding game for 3-4-3.
Okay.
So that's going to be a DJ Sand King. That's swapping things up a little bit here.
Is it a good Pudge game? I don't know.
I mean, we've seen a lot of Pudge like against Batrider to save them from lassos and stuff like that. But Pudge in this game, what are you looking for? Like, save someone from an Astral, get someone out of... You can't really get someone out of Disruption. That's a little bit wonky because of the illusions that pop up around you.
I'm more thinking of, like, you hook an enemy and then that person gets disrupted. You kind of stand around for a while, and Rave has enough backup. But I guess it's more... Pudge is never really about what it is a good Pudge game or not. There's two things Pudge worry about. Whether you can find level 2 in time, and after that, whether you can hit hooks, right? Which is, I guess, the more important thing. But finding level 2 is always kind of like a lot of things that people forget about. It's like, this hero doesn't do anything at level 1. Like, Rot is okay.
He rots and follows with Windlace.
Yeah.
I guess against the he's got Windlace and Dust, and against the Bounty Hunter, he maybe will be able to find a little bit of action onto him. But Bounty already gets the Observer Ward down over towards this bottom rune, and moves in. And Fly Solo could feasibly look for a career snipe a little bit later on, as well as the creep spawn. Holding on to sentries and an Observer Ward himself. There's no Orb of Venom, no Windlace on Bounty. He's kind of gone for not the laning harass, which we see a lot from Bounty Hunters, but more of a, I'm going to get vision and I'm going to make sure I know where everyone is on this Execration lineup.
I gotta say though, not having the Orb of Venom, especially in a lane where you're probably backstabbing for the Luna, like having the extra slow will allow your team to get so many more right clicks in. But we shall see. Man, Pudge is such a bad laner. Like, he's a melee support. He has 1 base armor, so he can't actually take it. We'll see how 343 gets to level 2. There's some cheesy stuff you could do. Like, if you're on the Dire, you could like pull this mid camp. And I think on the Radiant, you could pull this mid camp. You drag the creep out here and pull the mid lane. But I don't think I've ever seen pros really do it. Apart from Genting, I think.
Yeah. Can you do what you can do with Rubik with the large camp and like hook it down to tier 2 bot and make it run around into the creep wave?
So that Rubik trick got changed because the creeps now just run back this way.
Oh, okay.
Instead of following you. If you want to do the Pudge thing, you have to pull the creep wave out and hook it this way.
Okay.
Then that works.
That makes sense. Well, mid lane already. Sentry's down to C. Bounty coming in. Arbed's Invoker going to be going up against Kev's OD once again. As DJ, Iron Talon jungling, has left the top lane all alone, and 343 has hook level 1. He misses out on his first go there. Bounty gets the nice little tango regen across on the sentry. An early win for Rave, definitely there for them.
Alright, Pudge officially useless now. Like, can he actually get a hook? Oh no, he doesn't have vision or anything, so never mind.
And in the meantime, you look over in the Dire jungle, right? Shadow Demon just stacked up 2 camps at the same time with a right click and a poison. Medium and large camp both stacked for the axe. Is dropping reasonably low, but he can go up, get back to a decent amount of HP. Sunstrike. Oh, not sure what that was meant to do, but Abed throws it regardless. Both of the safe laners, they're farming freely. So in this case, you know, you kind of just expect perfect CS from 2 carries. And it comes down to what the supports do with their time. Shadow Demon stacking, getting his axe, you know, beefed up and getting a lot of gold in for him. Warlock is doing stuff for himself. You know, that's a very kind of selfish way to look at what the Warlock's doing. He's trying to get himself to level 6, but that's what he needs to do. In the meantime, Bounty is kind of creating chaos. He's contesting the Sand King, getting a lot more done. And you've got to say, first 2 minutes have not just gone Rave's way, but they have definitely left their mark on this game. This is like super, super good for Rave.
It is definitely going Rave's way, like 100% of the time. And the final piece of the equation that you haven't mentioned is the Pudge. Absolutely doing jack all.
Still level 1.
He's stealing Sand King's experience.
I mean, so is the Bounty though. Like this is 2 heroes leeching from the Sand King. It's awful. Oh dearie me. I think they know he's there. They've pinged it out saying we're not getting as much as we should be. And 343 will move over. I'm not sure if he's he's in range. Dust. He's in the sentry range, and there we go. They've only got hooked though. There's no rot for the caustic finale, and Fly Solo walking back through the Alpha Wolves. They will finally find a kill. 343 throws the hook and closes in on that level 2. Finally, something going the way of Execration.
So Fly Solo should have actually hit somebody, break out Invis, because I don't think the creeps will aggro onto you if you're dusted, but still Invis. Like, they would actually care about the other heroes a bit more. I'm not 100% positive on that, but he definitely should have hit somebody to apply the slow and also get rid of the dust slow on himself. Either case, though, he was likely to beat that there in that scenario.
Even without the rot bottom lane, though, Sunstrike comes through and pops out the axe. In the meantime, Gabby's being chased by a Bounty Hunter, but he'll salve himself, get cancelled out by Fly Solo. Gabby just removes off the Battle Hunger and makes sure everything's okay for him now. He's also got Emo there with a Shadow Word to heal back up. Kills going the way of Execration, but still. Now Luna's free farming top, CS going the way of her and the axe. As Tranquil Boots will be here soon for him. Invoker, even with that 1 kill, 12 CS only.
Yeah, what's with mid lane today just getting completely wrecked? Ben was doing a lot of the owning earlier, but Kev's this time has got his number.
Oh, I'm not sure.
And these are not supposed to be like 60-40 matchup. They should be pretty even. No, mid players are having an off day, I guess.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. People just not doing as well as expected. Axe is doing exceptionally well. Kim's is here to leak some experience as well, but WHPH, another big juicy stack for him. Over to the side where there's a large camp. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4? And they've got, oh god, okay. Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hello. Axe Illusions. They do die relatively quickly, but like a spin each from them is well worth it. Mid lane, they're going to kill off Kev though. 3-4-3 with a Sunstrike help from Abed. Find that. We'll take down and Axe. Yeah, you've got to respect these creeps. You may have a stout shield, but Dark Trolls and Centaurs do a lot of damage.
Yep. And Punch is being effective. Talked about getting level 2, talked about landing hooks. He's done both. Now is roaming up top.
I don't want to harp onto Axe too much, but he's got 42 CS. He's got 42 CS at 5 minutes. This is like unprecedented levels of insanity. We'll move up towards top lane. They've spotted out 3-4-3 and they've got a disruption to slow him down as well. The trouble is Abbing is very low on HP. Fly Solo moves forward, and like you said, with a setup from disruption into the Janata hit, Bounty was given enough time to move forward, and the Lucent Beam will secure the kill.
Yeah, it's a very easy setup. Whenever Bounty is there, you could always pick up a support kill, even a Sanky kill if he's like not too high in terms of HP. So well done. I guess all eyes on the Sanking, right? He's level 6 now. 5 minutes and 30 seconds. It just does not happen like this in a pro game. Did you ever watch that Complexity game where they did double jungle?
Act yeah.
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 It reminds me of that level of insanity.
It's kind of why I mentioned it in the Veno Axe game, whether they go for that, because it kind of ticked in my head that Axe plus 1 jungle can work if you sort of stack camps for him. But the Axe Wyvern was more about the Ancients, where you cold embrace an Ancient stack and he just takes no damage and spins with the pure damage back onto them. And it's so sick. Just kept stacking in. Like he had like a 12-minute Prankles Vanguard Blink or something. Just insane stuff, honestly. 3-4-3's invis moving up towards top, but there's no one actually lurking around side of the map. There's just Abbing by his tier 1 tower, while bottom lane is getting shoved in by Gabby. I want to address this, but the interesting thing is the OD is the one to move.
Yeah. Look, man, your Axe is farming, so I guess you gotta defend your towers.
OD's gonna go and defend towers. Oh, moves himself to bottom. Yeah. Never thought I'd see an OD go and leech experience on bottom lane, but it has pushed Gabby into the jungle a little bit here, and Fly Solo, of course, is looking around for where Chemo is hanging, but now you've got Abed against Tim's Shadow Demon, giving a bit of room to breathe over towards this middle lane.
I'm surprised that Fly Solo isn't on the lanes a bit more, right? Like, I think Hook on the top lane, Sunstrike, Burrow Strike, everything's there. Another kill. Alright, 3-4-3, officially online. I'm sorry I ever doubted you, man. Great touch.
Oh, hello, Abed. Fly Solo's found you and will devour level 4 Astral. He'll get in range, the Ice Wall. Maybe able to slow them down enough as Kevs walks in to block. That's a great move by him. The damage output, it looks decent as a Sunstrike. I don't know where it was thrown onto, but they disrupt the Warlock now. He's walked himself into a bit of pain. There's no Arcane Orb here, and the hook from 3-4 will save Chemo for now, but another Astral. Kevs has found the target, and Fly Solo comes in. There's no Janata, just a few little hits into the poison. Picks up the damage. Shuriken out. Is there another Astral in 1 second? There's a hit and an Astral. Oh, I think that...
I don't think he dies.
No, I think...
In fact, he could get to the hook and counter kill. Hook! Oh.
Really?
Oh.
I think he would have died if the Astral was like 100th of a second after the hit, because the hit didn't land. It got cancelled out by the Astral.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's super unlucky, bro.
Killed life
Man,
to the bottom.
If he landed a hook, I would be waking up my neighbors.
If you landed that hook, you just be like, yep, 3-4-3 COD, punch whenever you want, whatever. But there's an 8-minute blink on Axe as they killed the Lifestealer just after he took that tier 1 tower at bottom lane. And WHPH, this is the tempo being set by him now. The debut of this blink dagger is going to be huge if he can capture a couple of key targets.
Who is that key target? I guess, I think Abed is probably the one you want to focus on. He will get Hannah Midas, though, before the gank comes, so...
He's like,
maybe not that big of a deal.
He's like fully rushed that Midas though. No brown boots, doesn't finish the Aquila. He went for null, raindrops, Bassy, straight into the hand of Midas, and yeah, I guess that's the way he should have gone. Up on top lane, Burrow Strike, but Sunstrike and the hook both miss as the Eclipse comes through. The Sentry's down there and they will be able to finish off DJ. Can't hunt down 343 just yet. And the thing is, Fly Solo is closing in on level 6. He won't have it before this kill, but he definitely will have it after. The hook, 343 wants to line it up onto the bounty, but he'll only get the Shadow Demon. Nice movement there by Rave.
Saves the Luna, gets 2 kill, puts Fly Solo to level 6, puts Axe close to level 10. Oh, very well done.
And a push into tier 1. And this is Abing going for Phase Boots Luna again. Moving into the Helm of the Dominator. Very quick.
I think it's even better this game because you have a Bounty Hunter. Yeah. Like the movement speed will stack much even better compared to last game.
Like you can dodge hooks. You're against open wounds and upheaval. You're against Ice Wall and potentially Cold Snap. You know, there's. I think this is like an exceptional Facebook game from Luna, but it's one of those cool things that we would never have talked about it unless we'd seen it in game number 1, right? We would never have said, oh yeah, Luna could go Phase Boots here and it'd be super sick. Abing showing us a bit of Dota. Well, DJ, relatively far away from his blink, still 1,000 off it, and the smoked up Rave team, they realize the further they slow down DJ, the better chances they have. They're pinging over into the trees, they know where he is, but there's a Radiant scan there, perfectly placed.
Yeah. Ooh, they see him, the call is going to be on point. Can they actually track him up? Yes, they do. I don't know, DJ's actually walking towards you. Not a good sign. 343 also ported it in, but he was pinged out. 343, very slow in terms of the experience gain. Wonder if he's going to buy that Tome of Knowledge. Catch back up.
Yeah, I guess Warlock is level 6 already, so...
Yeah. They have it in the shop, so... Definitely you should buy it now.
Get the money up on it. Invoker back into the jungle, just making sure he's not showing on the map against this Axe Blink. But there are Dar Observer wards kind of watching him every step of the way. One down towards deeper part of the Radiant jungle, but this one more importantly on the mid lane. Seeing when he transitions into the little camp to his southeast. And then there's one up towards the Ancients as well, but scouts out the Radiant Obs that's just been placed here, so that's something that Rave can look to deward and remove this vision from Execration, as the aggression's definitely coming. You know, tier 1 top has gone. So that really cuts a massive swathe of map control for Rave to push forward, and it reminds me of the way that CDEC, played at TI5, right? Where they'd hard push like tier 1 on top lane, then they'd cut through tier 1 mid, DJ, TP back to safety. But this sort of area of the map is so easy for Rave to access, thanks to that ward and thanks to the tower already gone.
Yeah, and they have access it in multiple ways, right? These 2 wards, this one in particular, have seen so much of Pudge's movement. He's back to not doing much, although he might start working it now. Still looking for a hook, but... Man, it's so hard to play a good Pudge game when there's a bounty seeing you everywhere. Or bounty putting deep wards to see you everywhere.
It's been a masterclass in vision game here from Rave, but the scaling power of Execration, they're still getting up and online. Gabby, with the armlet up, he'll TP back to Fountain. I think realizing this movement across from Rave will be coming. The final piece of the puzzle is the Sand on the blink on Sand King, right? 200 gold away after this creep wave and maybe a few jungle creeps. He'll be able to have it. Just clear out. He'll clear out this camp and he'll have Blink Dagger, and then you'll look for those infest bombs. The Warlock, Chaotic Offering ready at mid lane. They veil, jump forward from Axe. It's like a relatively simple kill, and then conversion into tier 1.
4-man track kill, pretty nice. They are gonna try to take this stack though. Pudge in position, but tracked up, and they should know that there's high ground vision now. Ping it out immediately.
Axe, go and take that. And go and cut down the Observer ward. Just a little ancient stack. I guess it's not worth going in and taking too much oh, he steals out the large creep. Okay, that's the sneaky play. It was so close to killing it, and Axe just chops it down. Big items coming in from Rave though. Now you've got Dragonlance nearly done for Luna, Force Staff is pretty much done for OD. The stats, the tankiness, the mobility of them, and they do move in towards the bottom where the blink forward from DJ, the Sand King Infest Bomb, Sunstrike down as well, but it won't land onto Abing. Looks like he'll still die though as Gabby chops into him. A life stealer. feel the pain of that as a great hook from 343 slides on through, and this is 4v1. Rave, they move their 2 cores down here thinking they were strong enough to battle up against Execration, but they come through in force and they get a double kill for the Lifestealer and save their tier 1.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate for Kevs. He actually Astro. I mean, he needed to Astro his core, and then I think they would have been fine, but Astro the wrong target. Kind of got isolated 1 by 1. I bet though, looks like he's gonna get caught. Did they have enough backup? It's gonna be Bounty Hunter.
With the Force Spirits, that is unfortunate timing. And the hook will only catch onto an Ogre.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Axe with
They might have done that on purpose, where they show the Bounty Hunter first, to bait out the Invoker, to summon Force Spirit, and then call him.
Yeah, it feels like the way. I mean, he's likely to get a kill with Cold Snap Force Spirits onto a bounty, but
yeah,
maybe Abed should have been expecting that.
I mean, I don't know. Bounty might just be tracking you and running away, right? It's a standard thing to do.
True. It won't be the Dragon Lance on Luna. It's going to be FaZe Helm Yasha.
Did he have Dragon Lance last game? I don't think he did, right?
I can't remember now.
I'm pretty sure he just went like FaZe, Helm, Manta, BKB, AC, right?
Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
Just going for the same build here. Which is odd, again. It's like, just not a Shadow Demon
friendly build
combination.
Right?
Yeah. But, you know, making it work. And again, this Ancient, the stack full to the brim. I wonder if he'll be taking it, or maybe the Axe will.
I think it's got to go to the Luna. Axe already has Blink Blade Mail. Give Luna the extra burst of income as the illusions come out. Get some experience for your Shadow Demon bounty at the same time. Oh.
So I kind of want to ask you about this, because last game we saw the Axe go into a Yules right after the Blink Blade Mail, and it looks like he's going to go for it again. What's your thought on the item? It's not exactly a very common buy.
The Yules?
Yeah.
I guess if you're going to go around looking for kind of, you know, solo pickoffs, or if you're the bounty hunter here and there, it's a good way to cancel TPs, because once you blink call, you've got nothing left. You want to be able to like blink call, battle hunger, and chase them down. If they just TP away, then you get out of it. And it's pretty good defensively, being able to Yules and blink yourself out of danger if you're split pushing and farming. I think it's a kind of catch-all item, right? It doesn't have one particular purpose. It's a great all-round pickup for Axe. But if you compare it to like a Force Staff, or you look towards a Lotus Orb or a BKB, I feel like they offer more team utility, right? It feels like a selfish item.
Yeah, I agree with that. Although I have to say though, when you have Astro and Disruption, just having another way to quote-unquote take yourself out of the fight, that kind of makes it super difficult for Execration to get the right target, focus at the right time. Bing's gonna get caught out here, Burrow Strike, but Disruption right there. Can they actually rescue though? Axe coming in position. Can they get the blink call? It's gonna be here though, and Bing dropping that ultimate, and they are gonna get a Lifestealer. There's a hook coming in for the Axe, but they can't follow up, and now Fly Solo get in position, looking for the track, but DJ blinks out just in time. Oh, they were prepared. At least Tim's was. He is still playing a great Shadow Demon game, extending that amazing streak that he had in the last game.
Yeah, and very close to keeping the Luna alive. The Sunstrike was the only thing that really finished her off. Luna maybe could have backed away a little bit more, but not expecting Abed to tank down that global nuke, as 343, no mobility on him. Going in onto Courier, Fly Solo, looks like he's going to drop to the Cold Snap there. Oh, Burrow Strike misses. Meanwhile, TP from 343 gets him back out to safety. Fly Solo will die. Pudge actually TP'd up to what, tier 2? At top lane, away from the OD at bottom.
I wonder if he wanted to TP into the fight, but lost a lot of HP. Well, you remember the thing that we said about Execration Game 1, where it felt like they lacked direction and objectives in mind? Kind of feels like that again. I think you could always fall back on outscaling your enemy team. And Invoker is decent for that. He's highest in terms of net worth. And this time around, they have a lot more AoE to defend against the Luna push. But I don't know.
Lifestealer against the Luna, though.
Yeah.
Like, once Luna OD get into these BKBs, and of course they've got a bunch of items to go before that. Manta style for Luna, then head into Black King Bar, and Hurricane Pike should be coming soon here for Kevs as he's finished off the 4-staff. But once they're up, you know, they don't feel the fatal bonds too much, they don't care about Meteor or Epicenter. That's where they can start playing a little more aggressively, and of course Roshan is going to be one of the next big things for the Dire team. They're scouting out with this little creepy to just make sure that Execration don't go in there and steal it. That's something they could definitely do, you know, shove out a couple of waves, smoke into Roshan, kill it with a Lifestealer and Invoker with the Forged Spirits and that Alacrity. Just one of those little kind of nuanced plays that not everyone does, but it's nice to realize that a way for Execration to kind of, you know, get back into the game or at least swing the momentum is to sneak a Roche.
Yeah, their lineup's okay at sneaking Roche. Invoker in particular providing most of the damage. Chemo getting found here, some D wards happening here, and like you said, a lot of the focus onto the Roshan. I don't think either team could take it fast enough to truly call it a sneak. And Pudge in particular very good against Roche lineups because of the fact that suddenly he puts one of your heroes in a very awkward position. Speaking of Pudge, he's also very good against this kind of Luna push strat. Remember how last game, like the illusions themselves weren't pushing that quickly, so Luna a lot of time had to walk up the hill to actually go for right clicks on the building.
Yep.
Well, that's where Pudge, you know, brings you further into the base.
Drags you into tier 4s.
Yeah.
This movement though, disruption to Call and Abed. A golden drop to try and save him with the fatal bombs there as well, but the Eclipse flies out from Abeng. They're even looking for more. DJ Epicenter all with the Infest Bomb inside, kills off the Axe, they're hunting for Shadow Demon, find the secondary kill. OD swipes in from the side, and he's not really in a position to fight here. Might have to bail him out. Fly solo, not going to be in a position to do so. DJ, one hit out from the Outworld Devourer. Scares him off a little bit, but there's the Caustic, little pop there, and the open wounds blows him even more as the Astral keeps the life still at bay, but DJ, no, the hook into Blink. Creation, that would have been perfect for them.
Yep. A little bit of miscommunication there.
OD going to be thankful that he didn't get picked up. He really walked into a dangerous area. Abing retreated out and pushes bottom lane. This does somewhat open up Roshan now. The Epicenter and Chaotic Offering are both down, but the Dire team, like you're saying, no one takes it really fast enough. We don't see medallions anymore. You know, Medallion got kind of nerfed against Roshan anyway. There's no real like minus armor on any of these teams. I don't even think anyone has a Blightstone, right? No, Lifestealer does, of course does.
Yeah,
it's a Radiant team. Roshan is a distant memory.
I mean, once Gabby finishes Deso, maybe they go for a Roshan sneak. But I think the bigger item pickup is going to be the Aghanim Scepter on the Sand King, because you know that the previous side that we just saw, where they linked them with the Epicenter, and then they killed like 2-3 heroes pretty much instantaneously. Well, that's going to happen more and more frequently. You could even go for the bigger target. 343 finds himself Kev, or I guess Kev found 343.
Yeah, I think it was the other way around there. 343 was split pushing as Pudge, but not really the most effective hero to do so. Fly Solo has been a little bit timid the past couple of minutes. You know, so often we see bounty hunters have these kind of ebb and flow games where, you know, laning stage doesn't go particularly well, and have a couple of good fights with tracks, and they find themselves a bunch of money. Fly Solo had a decent laning stage and has had a decent first 23 minutes, but he's never had one of those real big swings where he's found himself a ton of cash, you know, sitting Arcane Boots and a Staff of Wizardry, and you'd maybe like him to have, you know, another 1,000 or 1,500 net worth on top of what he has with the way things have been going, but it's 10 to 11, there haven't been that many big team fights or, you know, track pickoffs for them.
It's more of the nature of the game where both teams are playing extremely timid. This is game 3 of a best-of-3 series. You know, loser eliminated, winner moves on. So there's a lot more ancient stacking than fighting, especially for a C-Dota game. We have like 1 kill a minute, which is actually quite low for these type of games.
Yeah, so as well. You mentioned the ancient stacking. The Radiant team, they've kind of given up on that with Bounty sort of placing sentries and observer wards and blocking camps. Little nuisance that he is. It's all around this dire ancient side, and of course they've got the advantage that their ancients are like right above the Roshan pit. So while they're farming, they're not missing out on any opportunity to contest or go into the Roche pit if they want to. And Execration, they will look for a pick mid. It's Fly Solo, that's Invis, and potentially looking to scout out DJ. They ping it out. I don't know if they actually know what's going on there, but
you need to get a gem on DJ. And suddenly the bounty hunter had to play a lot differently. Right now he could still do whatever the hell he wants to do. Somebody buy the mana gem.
Buying himself a 4-staff, interestingly. I would have thought that you go for the kind of the normal build of Guardian Greaves as bounty. Gets a hit in, goes back to Invis, in comes the Blink Call from Axe with the Blade Mail down. The Sunstrike won't land, but there's still a Yule Scepter from WHPH to get him to safety. Demonic Purge onto Gabby as well to get this Lifestealer into danger. With a hold from 3-4-3, catches the Axe, and now the Shadow Word will catch him as well. The Eclipse kills up the left from the back, and they've got the drop down with a Fatal Bomb, but there's no damage to follow through. They have nothing left to give. Invoke is down on the bottom lane, all on his lonesome. And Rave, I don't know, do you count that as a win for them?
No. So a couple of things that happened. Very smart patience played by Gabby, right? They could have easily popped out and went for the bounty hunter. But they understand that bounty hunter is likely not there by himself. There's an Axe backup. And Gabby would have got called if he came out first. But they wait for the call, and then he came out looking for a quick snipe. Unfortunately, after Berserker call, there was like plus 40 armor on the Axe, so it wasn't a quick kill. The second thing is that Execration are looking for these fights when Abed's BOT is on cooldown. Like, if Abed joins that fight, the creep wave that's running up top, that would have been totally a different fight. Remember that rock? 3 people, Fatal Bond hit 3 people. Imagine there was a meteor on top of that. They win that fight 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm kind
of a lot of small things. Remember that previous engagement where DJ blinked in and 3-4-3 hooked? Just like the communication is a little bit off.
Yeah, there's a little disconnect between players. With Golem down for a minute and a half still, or at least Rave will be able to get themselves into this Roshan pit, and I don't think Execration will move into this area anytime soon. They're picking it out, and they will Sunstrike scout it. TPing DJ down to this bottom tier 2, and actually looking to move towards this area as the hook comes in
nice
3-4-3, and they will find Fly Solo. They kill the bounty and make sure there's no tracks coming through, but Roshan and Aegis have been fired by Lunar already.
3-4-3 is so good on the Pudge. Just like, he hasn't actually missed too many hooks, right?
No, he really hasn't. But there's your gem. There's your gem, Lumi. Warlock says, screw it. I'm a Warlock. I don't need any items. I'm happy with Arcane Boots. Take my gem.
Good on your Sand he's your best initiator. Go for that infest play one more time. It is unfortunate that they got the gem right after the Roche. Suddenly, the likelihood of Rave grouping him as 5 and using the Aegis to push tower is much higher. Kez porting up top. It's not the one with the Aegis.
They have a Hurricane Pike and a Blink. And the hook, oh, that will give it all up. The jig is up. And Execration do have to bail away from this. The Phase Boots Luna sprinting across on Nova, and they've got the Blink Axe to catch the Pudge. 3-4-3 should be a decent track kill. Get everyone into range, get everyone into this money. They'll get themselves a 3-man at least. I don't know if Bounty was in range there for it, but plenty of cash for them.
Yeah, very good disengage by Execration. It would have been very tempting for DJ to hop an epicenter there, because everyone is crowded around the Pudge. But they would have definitely lost that fight. They really need Pudge to give them the numbers advantage by hooking one out, not the other way around.
And Warlock ulti just come off cooldown as well. And this is when they'll start to look for fights. They're split pushing 2 lanes at the same time. Abed's bottom, creating space for the rest of his team, and of course, Rave are kind of prone to this 5-man commitment, but they've nicely set themselves up for maybe a fight on the bottom lane. The trouble is, DJ was there, ready to go back in onto Axe, make sure Abed is safe with the blink forward. Looking for an Astral. DJ is getting himself out of range, and OD just barely catches him. The range of that skill is ridiculous, but there's no follow through. Kevs has run himself back. DJ, they know The Kevs is still around. There's a blink, and out he goes. Back to safety. Execration miss out on a juicy kill.
You just gotta be very careful. If he gets taunted and they lose gem, I mean, a lot of their map controls. I mean, their map controls are already very, very weak at this point because of the bounty. If they lose that gem, it's gonna get even weaker. It seems like the one common theme in these last two games is that Execration is putting a lot of eggs in their split push basket. They're just going for the late. Remember Chemo last game on the Sankey? He was split pushing non-stop. We saw 3-4-3 earlier, split pushing as Pudge. They're just not really happy to take out a heads-on team fight, despite having a Warlock.
Making sure these lanes are pushed out. I feel maybe it's due to, you know, Aegis still being up and they're forcing Rave to kind of always fall back and address what they're doing, wasting time on Aegis. But with 2 minutes remaining, it's like they will go and try and expend this one way or another onto this tier 2 bottom and maybe high ground. But again, you look at the way the map is changing. Top tier 2 is being pushed by Execration. Mid shoved in. The Dragon Fireball still apparently there out on the map. As Chemo's doing his job, but TP's come out. Kevs is looking for someone. He's on the hunt, looking for Warlock, but this would nicely placed in the lane, actually. Spot out the TP and the movement.
Well, nobody's backing off just yet. Pudge showing himself bottom. But I would have thought for sure Abed would have, you know, sent Force Spirit to tier 3 up top. Well, he's trying to. Rave needs to make a move, and I gotta say, the split pushing has been on point. Rave is essentially doing nothing without Aegis.
How long's left on it? Less than a minute. Going back to farm with it, apparently. And then you're looking at top lane, Sand King. Did he spend his money yet? 4,200 gold on DJ still. Yet to throw the money at anything in particular as they TP him back to this Radiant jungle. I don't know if they feel there's someone hiding around here, maybe expecting Luna to be farming and straggling around with some camps. Axe, considering the jump onto 3-4-3, but not going to be worth it. Actually blink TPs, that's the better decision there.
I wonder what Axe will get. Normally you either look for a Shiva's Guard or something like a Scythe of Ice. The Scythe might not be so good against Astral as well as Disruption, you know. Counter your item pretty efficiently.
Gonna be a BKB? He's got the Ogre Club.
Okay. Seems like it.
Yeah, well that can do. Abbing, again, continues this build into the Assault Cuirass for the Luna. I just want to keep watching DJ because there's like 5,000 gold on him.
Oh, no. You were saying about Axe having BKB. I'm talking about Sankey.
Ah, right, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he spent his item. Spent his gold. Yeah, look, it is the Shiva's Guard. So, the fight coming and is being set up by Execration on this side of the map. They've managed to make this nice little camp for themselves, but they TP a bit back towards top, and the smoke coming in, they've noticed the movement, and now they've got all these lanes kind of pushing across the river for Rave, realizing that Execration, once they've pushed these lanes, they do like to go back into the jungle and, you know, reset, continue this cycle. We're going to have a big old smoke into smoke, it looks like. DJ with the lifesteal inside him, the Shiver's Guard fully completed. Buyback status is pretty much null for the Radiant team. Invoker only, but oh, not again. Yeah, feels bad, man.
Not meant to happen like that. Oh,
that will scare Rave away though, so I guess mission accomplished. I mean, if they get the bounty kill, same thing, right? Rave will just back off. But instead, Execration will now go out. Ancients are being taken.
Still got the lifesteal instead of the Sand King. They can catch this OD. Oh, Kev. The TP completes. They go on the axe instead. The Sunstrike, the combo. Hello, Yule Scepter's there. Can he blink away? The Epic Blast just catches him on the tail end. the back of that. Deafening with the Eclipse coming out. Gabby just rages it off, and the Golem dropping on Luna's head. The fresh meat on the back end. Don't know, he's dismembering someone, but it's Kev's on the front lines being whacked around by Gabby. The life does taking like no damage, and DJ Epicenter back on in with a 2-man. Looking for the stun as well, but Flice solo drops to the Golem, slap down, and another tornado into Ice Wall. Abing tries to TP out, but the cold snaps there. Execration looks like they've fully wiped Rave. 3-4-3, I don't know if you caught who he went on to, but I think it was the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, there was no disruption in that fight, and that's the reason why Execration was so ahead. It seems like the reason that they picked up Pudge is his job is to make sure that Tim's doesn't do his. And he's been on point. Execration is going to force multiple buyback. That Eclipse was not good at all. Maybe he thought Gabby's rage was on cooldown, because they kill Axe so fast. Maybe his perspective is Gabby had to use rage, but he did it. And now that's melee Rex and range Rex.
Likely. Tier 2 mid as well. Roshan respawns in 40 seconds or so. Rave, they're coming back alive.
Well-gotten gains.
That's no war.
Well, that was a successful smoke, to say the least.
A full 5-man wipe, definitely so. And the trouble was, that was Luna and OD with BKBs, right? That was a 10-second BKBs on both of them? Yeah. That was their fresh BKBs on the 2 big cores, and they still got like fully wiped. Disgusting amount of control and damage. You know, you saw DJ kind of swing away from the fight, then Epicenter back into it. Water Golem was pretty good deterrent to slow things down, but Lifestealer just didn't get touched. Like, no one did any damage to him.
Yeah. I think the biggest factor is the fact that Rave chose to fight after losing the axe. Remember when Execration lost their Pudge in this area of the map? They just like, okay, we'll disengage. We don't need to fight this. And honestly, Rave didn't need to take that fight. Luna ran in with Eclipse, thinking they could win it, but without your best initiator, you know, not exactly sure what Rave could do. Just like how you say that Sand King is the glue that ties Execration together, Axe is the same for Rave.
Absolutely. Well, maybe Kev's was a little bit too far forward there, but DJ wasn't nearby. Got himself in with any blink stun nonsense, but he will find a sentry up on the high ground, and he's a ward now. Blink available with now Lifestealer inside of him. Rave, you can feel this kind of tension. We need to go towards Roshan, we need to go and contest this. Bottom lane's being pushed in, they're hesitating and not sure exactly where they want to go. I'll send some illusions forward, scout this out, and now it's like a bit of relief. They realize, okay, Roshan isn't actually dying, but it's the moment Execration choose to strike. There's that sense of security where Rave feel, okay, they're not fighting there, but now they are. And DJ tracked up. Rave looks for that. 3-4-3 finds the bounty with a sun strike. They killed him off. A good forest strike. Will fly in. Combo onto Tim's, but he forced himself away. Kev sprints forward. DJ getting whacked around with the arcane orbs, but the golem dropped onto the 2 of them. The BKBs are forced out, and they can't turn and fight. Gabby, look at him go! Clears up through Kev. The Eclipse is finally popped out, but that call misses. Gabby just walks it all off and doesn't give a damn. He could turn with a Abyss Blade here. He has Abyssal ready to go, and DJ Epicenter! Oh yeah, there we have it, into 3, catches them all, and Rave! You're gonna lose Abing and Kevs as well. They'll yield into the air from that Invoker. Oh, OD, you're an OP hero, but you can't stand your ground against this. He gets a double kill as Invoker pauses the game. The buybacks come out of the dire team. Chat wheel bug. Woo!
Why the hell do you need chat wheel during a team fight? Or is it like the chat wheel just on the screen and you can't see it?
Yeah, I guess so.
I've never had that bug, so I don't know.
Me neither. But Gabby and Abed are still alive. What, OD is on what? 300 HP, has no force staff, maybe can blink?
No, I don't think he can. It's gonna pop out. Actually, I think he can. Yeah, he'll be fine.
Depends on Abed, like can Abed cast any... Oh, Infest, that's really... Oh, no? They're not going to go for it.
Whoa.
Okay.
Right, good blink choice by Kev, went into the trees. Are they going to go right back to the Roche? It's not low enough.
I hate fight recaps, honestly, Lumi. I've just pressed the fight recap button and it tells me absolutely fucking nothing. I mean, there's lots of damage done by people. Bit of an XP exchange, but... Gold change was like nothing. Absolutely nothing, even with buybacks and whatever. But Luna and SD both fought back there, and OD, of course, with his still on cooldown due to the previous fight. And the Rave, they are the ones in the Roshan pit getting this Aegis.
Yeah, there's no rock. That's why they could feel like they could buy back and make this play, but they are having a lot of trouble, which now I think this is time to talk about that Luna's item build. The base boots has been great early, but now the lack of butterfly is really showing in, right? I think the build works if you're relying a lot more of your Eclipse as damage output, but as we saw in that last team fight, Eclipse did nothing. You really need to start transitioning as a physical damage build, and yeah, she does do quite a bit, but I mean, Butterfly would have made that team fight totally different.
Abed, what's he up to now? 2400 gold saved up. Finished off that Octarine core, and maybe looks towards a BKB of his own. Wouldn't too bad, honestly. The Refresher's always the more fun item, just get the double cycle of spells out, but I think he needs a BKB, especially against Clips and Arcane Orb. A lot of money.
Yeah, I think BKB is probably the safest item choice.
Still back into the big black dragon. Throwing out fireballs and killing off creeps. I guess with bottom lane naturally pushing in, the Ranger Axe, fell. And split the map a bit here and force Rave to spread their forces across 2 lanes instead of focusing on one. Why they're struggling so hard to keep these lanes pushed out, bottom and mid. They need to ensure that there aren't any creep waves kind of strolling up to tier 3s, hitting them or chipping away any damage like that. It's not going to be a commitment or anything though from Execration. Don't want to walk into Aegis Luna.
Yep. And Execration, honestly, the only one big play they made is this game. That game was the smoke into the team-wide play, right? And now they've fallen back to the whole slip push game. But when you're up 1 racks, it's much better to make that gameplay. As you can see that Abed, he sees the Shadow Demon defending bottom. He's going to go for him now.
I don't think you can find the Luna though.
Yeah.
There's illusions actually nicely placed out here, scouting a few little areas. Abed just spins him up into the air with a tornado, but it's Execration are finding themselves maybe closed in on here as Fly Solo moves forward. Who holds the gem? It's still DJ with the gem. No high ground vision here from the Radiant team, so this smoke might be able to catch someone out like 343 with a blink and call. HPH, he doesn't have enough damage on his own, but with the OD and Luna coming in. That's the Podge gone for a full minute, and maybe that'll put a damper on Execration's push forward.
Yeah, they need BOTs though, because the waves are constantly being pushed. In fact, tanking finds bounty, but not gonna get it much. Yeah, they have to just defend. Abed is just constantly annoying. He gets Astral. Kevs has Hex. This could be a kill.
Here's Yule's Blink. And Ghost Walk. It's like close to no way he dies there. Axe will miss out on the call. Kind of surprising that he Yules up the OD instead of himself, but I guess it worked out.
So the reason that Kev Astral instead of hexing him, because he had Hex on cooldown when he blinked in there. He needed to buy a little bit more time because he maybe was thinking that even with Hex, I couldn't kill him by myself. I would need my team to be here. But I don't know. I still think it's better to Hex him first. As the Hex is running out, you Astral him. At least your teammate, there's more people nearby. Yeah. You have a better shot to get that kill.
And you get a bit of damage in with the Arcane Orbs as well.
Right. Maybe now seeing the Hex Invoker will think about getting a Lincoln Sphere.
Yeah. Yeah. Good change up rather than going for that BKB. Might be even a little bit better, block out Demonic Purge. I guess Shadow Demon's like focusing very heavily on disrupting Luna and purging up the Lifestealer.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the Hex and the Astral that cancel out the DJ.
He's got the gem.
Right, and he will lose the gem. The dunk goes down, and Axe. I'm going to take it. It's going to be the double gem for Tim's. Bounty finds the Invoker on bottom lane. Very good from Rave.
This time they blink Hex. to start the things off, and Bounty was there to provide some damage. And all of a sudden, two cores goes down. Uh-oh. Luna is one of those lineups. Oh, fight happening in the back line.
That's a good blink call though. Axe in the middle of the two of them. Bottom's blade mail a little bit late, but the rock is dropped onto these guys and doesn't do a hell of a lot. He's already dead, and Gabby dropping low. He's armor toggle. Oh, Culling Blade won't finish him off. Very tight with the threshold there, and Gabby actually TP towards the mid tier 2, and this is where Kev has a blink and a hex, and oh, Sandy's a clip. Gabby armor toggle back up to a decent amount of HP, but now he's dead. They've got buybacks and Execration, and they might be forced to use them here as Rave takes down, what was that, 4 heroes in quick succession? 3?
Yeah. They're beating the backdoor protection right now, and they could just go high ground. I wonder why Gabby ported to the tier 2. Maybe panic TP. Whatever the case is, it's a very costly mistake. And once the tier 3 is down, you know, buildings are going to drop super fast with this Luna.
That tier 3 is gone. They've got a glyph, but
Structures are fortified.
I throw it out
Look at this.
now
Oh
for
my
good
God.
measure, but the glaives, somebody save us from the glaives. Gabby with DJ
Ooh.
jumping forward and stunning with the fatal bonds. That is a lot of damage onto them, but ranged Rax is already very low. A good sunstrike clips onto Arbing as well, and the chase is now on. The blink forward with a long range burst strike available, but Rave have moved towards the northeast. Got heals coming out onto the Luna now with the urn.
Fly solo wants him. There's dust available on DJ, but doesn't have that constant vision on solo. In fact, it's going to be Kev's coming in.
Nice little turn of play there. Hurricane Pike forward, they're looking for the Hex as well. They get it onto Gabby. This could be huge. The Tornado EMP from Arbed comes through, and in comes DJ with the epicenter, clears them all up. Sand King, oh yeah, that's a triple. Look for the Ultra as well. With the Yules from the Axe, maybe buying a little bit of time. It's life still to find the 4th hero. And Rave will be the ones on the back foot now, looking for buybacks. You're damn right, Lumi. Arbed, he is by tier 4s, forcing buybacks, and now pressuring a tier 3.
What a freaking god. That tornado won them the fight, and the presence of mind, she immediately poured bottom, seeing the creep wave there and forcing a buyback. This is why a lot of these peanut players respect him. Like, just so handedly won them the fight, and perhaps the game.
Gabby does have to be a little bit wary here, but they stun back in with the Sand King. No buybacks now on any of the big sort of beefy cores. OD, Luna, Lifestealer, Axe, Invoker, and Sand King still hold on to theirs. So of course you can see that Execration do hold at least some form of advantage. And you were speaking about Boots of Travel for Rave. We start looking for Boots of Travel. Sand King has his. Of course, we've already seen the Invoker hold on to his for a long old time. And now, Refresher Orb's nearly done. Lifestealer can always jump inside like a Sand King or someone to BOT across the map. Things get difficult for Rave in terms of not just pushing and controlling waves, but reacting to what Execration are doing.
Yeah. I mean, right now, the way that Rave could win this game is to do Hex pickoffs with the OD. But at the same time, when you don't get the insta pickoff, when you clump up in a weird spot like that, you put yourself in the mercy of that Warlock as well as the Invoker.
DJ goes
Of
back
course.
for Force Staff.
Huh.
I would have thought he'd go for like a Hex or BKB or a Lincoln's or I don't know, some kind of late game item, but
Oh, you know what? It's an anti-hex tool.
oh, to
You know, if
force
you
the Hex target.
Yeah, or you could. Lotus would have been better, but Force Staff is also just a better item for himself as well.
Yeah,
He's in the middle of the fights.
that makes perfect sense. We saw it at RG Masters, right? When someone got Hex, they were like triple Force Staff and they did like a zigzag movement.
Yeah.
Flapping halfway across the map. Really nice. Fly solo. Gets a deep ward down and TP's out. It's perfectly fine. They were hunting for him though. They had some kind of inkling that he was around. bo3 through that hook. To the trees. Rave feels like they want to smoke and move out of their base, but you look at bottom lane and you just see their big problem. It's being pinged out now. Execration. Maybe you get baited into thinking there is a smoke coming. Like if you don't defend this lane with heroes, your opponents are going to think, right, they must be across the map somewhere doing something.
I think Execration. I mean, Rave also thinks that there's a smoke coming. That's why they're not defending bot lane with heroes. They're both are likely scared. Execration though, I mean they're just farming the jungle, so the economy game still going their way.
It's one of those cool games where it doesn't even feel like economy matters. Like, everyone has items, everyone has, like, stuff. Maybe this refresher and invoker is going to be a big swing for them, but it's going to come down to, you know, like always in late game scenarios, decision making, positioning. Who wants it more?
Yep. Who wants it more? Right?
Execration want it more. Yep. They've killed one, and they'll find place. So the Hex comes out from the OD, and they've got a target here onto DJ, but the hook from 3-4-3 drags him back to safety, and now Kev's abyssal bladed. Oh man, the OD is going to go down, and with no buyback available, this might be the end of Rave. They've lost 3 heroes. Luna and Axe are the last ones standing, and I don't think they can defend their base. The onslaught of Execration move onto high ground and look for tier 4s. They blink forward. Yule's Ice Wall. Oh, the hook doesn't land. Still a statement of intent here from Execration.
Buying time and space for Gabby to hit the building, and yeah, not exactly sure much they could do. I bet is taunting in front of the drone.
Of course he is. DJ does a little bit more than taunt. Epicenter into the Luna, but not a massive amount of damage. The Sunstrike will chip her down to about a third of her HP. Oh, hello. Abed, he's toying with them.
I mean, you can say he's creating space, but he's actually just trolling them now. Well, that's the game, I believe. Tornado will come up here as well. Take him up in the air. Ice wall. Yeah, he is actually messing with them. Might actually die. No, his teammate's backing him up. In fact, he's actually very fine. He still has a refresher orb.
Yeah. I was about to say, Abed's still holding on to refresher. They will have the bounty, and Shadow Demon come back in to fight up against them, but a 3-man Boros strike again from DJ. No follow through. Abed for once up on the front lines, messing with them, but maybe now with a blink forward and a tornado EMP, goal refresher combo! Hello! Goodbye! Rave, say goodnight and say GG. Execration will take game number 3.
Alright. I am worried for Execration in terms of the strategy and gameplay, but it could definitely solo carry some games. As we just saw there.
Execration move themselves into the grand final against Mineski. We are best of 5 coming up tomorrow at, I believe, 10 AM CET, which will be 5 PM Singapore time. That should be an absolute cracker between these two.